Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today's the start of a new build. We are at Tenpines Bluff, and to be honest, I haven't given this settlement much love ever, and we are going to change that. So I am going to turn this little spot into a cozy little village. I was just here with my clean and smooth settlement mod on, as well as the springtime trees, and it just gave me kind of like Shire Hobbiton vibes. So I'm not going to do it exactly like that, but I'm just going to make a cozy little village like you might find in the Shire. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's get into it. Okay, I've just done some stuff off screen. I've just put in this fence just to show exactly where my build area is. And I started to place down where I intend to put some buildings. So these will be individual houses and I guess markets and things as well. So I just sort of dotted them around because I do want to have a nice winding path with vegetation sort of flanking it on either side to this entrance way. And this is what we have over here. I've put in a cliff and some trees and stuff because there was kind of an access way through there. I didn't want sort of people, creatures, whatever, wandering in that way. I wanted to sort of focus them down there because we do have a nice rope bridge there as well. So I'm just trying to channel people through this way. And to make this, I use the CVC Dead Wastelands mod. There is cliffs and rocks, and of course plants and some mute fruits here. Just sort of dotted them around here. Now I have an idea, kind of controversial I'm sure, but I'm going to do a water source here as well, and I will show you what I'm talking about in a second. And this is what I was thinking, so I have very quickly roughed it in. Let me just zoom out here. So I've got kind of like a little dark spot over there in the rocks, and I'm sort of insinuating that there is some kind of underground water source coming through and sort of going around our rock feature and down through our entire settlement basically, and having some kind of pond over here. So if you wonder about how I place this water down, it's the SOE Settlement Object Expanded mod. If you go to structures pool, there is some water features you can use. So you just place them down like kind of a normal, kind of like a floor asset. They sort of click together, and you can choose whatever water that you like. Now it is very kind of lots of 90-degree turns, but we're gonna kind of blend it into our environment, and you can see what I've done here. I've used that CVC mod again with the rocks to sort of fill in the spots. And let me just show you what I've been doing with that. Okay, so if we jump into the build menu, I'll just quickly show you exactly how I've been going about this. So you can see there, CVC, Dead Lands, Rocks, got a whole bunch of different options here. And I've basically just been going through, just choosing, I guess, the rocks that I like the look of, and just finding these kind of rough looking water edges here, and literally just putting the rocks, oh, I'm just on the edge of the build area, right over the edge, and just hiding them like that. And I'm using the place everywhere mod to do this, and just scaling them sometimes as well, just so they cover more area. And if I just grab another one quickly, let's do this big one because I can shrink it down. Okay, and just chuck that one in there to try and cover up that ugliness. Okay, you can see we've got this sort of stepped effect here because obviously the elevation changes a little bit. So the way I'm getting around that is if I go back to my SOE where I got the water effects from, I will show you that. Go over to pool, and we got the water planes here. This is what I've been using. But then if you go over, there is waterfall effects. We got large, medium, and small. I'm using the large one here because just the rate of the water is a little bit less than the medium and the small because they're a bit faster. And if I just click that there, oh, I'm on the edge again. Let's just reposition that like that. You can see we can go down from the different elevation changes, and it looks a bit goofy there, but if you grab some rocks or something and just sort of kind of do this sort of thing, you can kind of hide the ugliness that way. So eventually it does kind of work out. So the idea is I'm going to continue those waterfalls down to our ground level over here. So I'll have another one here as well. And just run the rocks all around the edge of our pond and finish up over there. So let's do that now. And with the magic of television, this is how it ended up. So just using that same technique, just following the whole length of our water source. And if we just jump down, we can get a closer look. Let's just run the whole length of it. So there is still a little bit of that sort of goofiness, but I think overall it's quite a cool little effect. And we can make our way pretty much all the way through our settlement here. I did add sort of things like this just where it crosses over to the other side. And we do also have a house over here as well. So I'll need to figure out some kind of bridge to get across. Oh, I missed a little spot there. But yeah, it does look a little bit funny in our scene right now. Oh, I got another bit here. Because it's just sort of random rocks stuck there. But I think integrating them with sort of the reeds and other plants and things around the place, when it's finished, I'm hoping and hopeful that it will lend well to the settlement as a whole. Okay, so now that our little babbling brook is complete, I'm going to do a pathway through the town, just sort of like a winding pathway. I'm kind of thinking that we're going to have the main pathway with little pathways coming off to the houses, kind of like an English cottage type deal off the, the little country roads and things. That's kind of what I'm seeing in my head. So we're going to start here at the main entrance area and then wind our way kind of in a whimsical way to the end of the settlement. So let's do that now. Alright, I've just jumped into the mod static objects and buildings and then the landscape tab and footpaths, and I've got this one here. We've got a bunch of different options here, but I'm going to stick with just this kind of medium short one, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to start from. Probably trying to avoid these little grassy bits, but the ground also needs to be somewhat flat. Let's just turn off the snapping, because I'm going to do some of it kind of, well actually a lot of it, by hand. And I want to introduce lots of curvature. So I'm just sort of clipping it through the previous one. And the reason why I chose the short version is because I want to get as much angle on it as I can. I just have this idea of each house having kind of like their own front garden. I know it's going to be very small, but that's kind of the vision in my head. Just like those hobbit holes in the Lord of the Rings. Something like that. I'll keep going over that side. And then just to sort of tie up these houses, let's, okay, so if we can do that bit there, maybe we do a door in the middle of this one, and then get some curve on it as well. Something like that. And if you can imagine, just sort of like this house will have a fence going up to the walkway there, footpath, and then sort of like a small kind of garden. We've got stuff like this that we can use. So this is just purely for demonstration, but if we just do something like that, and then again, just for demonstration purposes, if I can select one of these fences and chuck it like that. So that's kind of the idea. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So I'll probably do sort of hedges and flowers and all that sort of stuff. But let's just finish off our pathways and just see how that turns out. Well, looky here, we have a path and it is magnificent. So I have routed this main path all the way through the settlement, and then each building has their own curvy path leading to it, and then I've got sort of like a cul-de-sac type thing here. If I just jump up into the sky, I can show you what it looks like from above if I'm not in the trees. Get out of there. Okay, There you go. So you can see it winding its way through around our brook. And then connects quite nicely over here to this kind of landing section and then to our entranceway. Very nice. I ended up going to the smaller single pieces instead of the double pieces I started with because it gave much nicer curve. So that is the way I've gone, and I've actually deleted the garden bit. I have decided I'm going to do, each house kind of has a little bit of a veggie patch where applicable. So that's the way I've gone, and I've made a little bridge across to that house there because there's no other connection. I'll fancy that up a little bit, I think, with some railings and maybe some overhead planters or something. I haven't decided. I must say the springtime trees shadows are just, they're everywhere. It's a little bit hard to kind of see what I'm doing, but anyway, the next step is the homes. I might show you how I do that. So I'm going with a style that I've sort of typically used in the past and just sort of change it up a little bit. I'm just putting these walls in for reference because I am going to do quite a bit of custom work on the framing and everything. I'm just sort of just want to get a baseline look. Let's go for something a little bit more scrappy, maybe this corrugated iron one here. And I want it to be in line with our, if I move that out of the way, with our footpath there. So if I, well, I guess it doesn't actually matter because we do have a little bit of a, oh, I'm stuck. A little bit of a porch in the front, so I just need to line it up with the steps, I guess. Or does that look funny? It looks a little bit funny to me. Okay, now it's behaving itself. I might even push that a little bit further if I just, guess we don't have to go all the way up there because we're going to have stairs there anyway. Okay, I'm going to jump into Whisper's extra pieces because I want to get some windows up in here. And I got some nice windows that I am fond of. Let's go with 2 in the kind of living area, I guess. 1 here, 1 here. And let's go for a long one, maybe at the back here, so you can see out into the water. Very nice. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the Kuro tab, and I'm going to sort of make my own framing for this place. Yep, this is the one I want. How high is it going to go? So that's why I wanted to utilize those walls there, so I made sure that everything lines up. And I'm going to be doing a mixture of sort of the wood pieces and metal pieces because my good friend and subscriber Nick often points out that I don't use enough metal. Fair call. Let's maybe extend that a little bit. And do one at the top. And I guess we need one at the bottom too. Just need to make sure that the windows are all framed in. Actually, I might just delete that one and do a gap filler instead. And I'll just move that down a little bit because I don't want it to interfere with our roof too much. Can I do that one? Sometimes these are a bit finicky. Doesn't want to select. Oh well, we'll just hope that it doesn't affect anything. Okay, so we got the framing roughly in. Actually, let's just do one more horizontal. Right in the middle there. Don't worry, I will shrink that in a little bit so it doesn't look super goofy. Okay, and let's just jump out of there and we'll go to the metal bits. And we'll go for the scrap metal. Again, shrink it down. I want to see some of the wood there, so let's put it on the inside. Too big. Okay, make sure there's as few gaps as possible. I'm not so fussed if there is a little bit of gaps, a few gaps or something like that, as long as it's not so kind of overt. Let's just put that one down. I might chuck some wood right there. Do we have scrappy wood pieces? I don't actually know if I've seen that before. Plenty of options here. We got these cool frames that I could have used. I guess I could use them elsewhere. And I guess we could use these too. That's kind of an interesting piece. Getting distracted. Okay, here we go. Got a balcony piece. Okay. So we've filled in the wall there, lots of scrap there. Obviously I'm going to delete that and do the same over there. But let's just quickly, briefly fill in kind of what I'm thinking in terms of the overall look. Let's just put in some railings here. Okay, well that's not going to work for us. We need that free. Okay, and I'm just going to go to just the standard stuff. Okay, let's go for maybe a barn roof. Green? I guess we can just sort of mix it. That is object snap is on. So is it going to snap to this piece? I'll probably have to put a barn wall down for it to snap. So for now we're just going to do that. It's kind of working for us. Let's just bring it in a smidge. I'm just sort of trying to give you the idea of what it kind of will look like. And if we jump out of here, get some of these in there. Don't need it that tall. Let's go for a shorter one. That's probably more our style. Okay, and let's find a flat corrugated iron shack roof. Like so. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with the style, just sort of a variation on that. And then doing completely sort of custom framed out walls just so that it doesn't look vanilla, basically. Trying to get it as scrappy and as unique looking as possible. And then, yeah. So I'm not going to just film everything, but you can kind of see this is how I'm going to do all the buildings. And they're going to look some kind of variation of this. So there we go. I will pause it here and I'll see you in a minute when I guess all these buildings are finished. My word, that took a long time, but I am finished. So anywhere where I had placed down those floor foundations, I have converted to scrappy metal / wooden houses. You can see I've got these windows here, a bunch of different types. I've got them from the Snappy House kit, Whispers extra pieces, and what's the last one? Woody's Workshops. I think it's Woody's Workshop stuff. I always get that wrong. But I've placed them in the walls and then built around them. That's why it's sort of taken so long. And as you can see, we have a lot of custom pieces and buildings. They're all from basically the Kuro tab, CVC, Dead Wasteland, and vanilla pieces, I guess. But you can see they're all empty. I will do in sort of interiors later on, but I want to have kind of a change of pace now, and I'm going to do kind of some exterior treatments. So let me just bring up the menus again. So I kind of mentioned before about kind of the English garden type deal where you have the house and then kind of a little bit of something in front of the house before you get to the footpath or the road, and that's what I'm going to go for here. So I'm going to do these kind of picket fences. Well, I'm going to do a whole bunch of different types, so probably these as well, and maybe these, not this type. Where is it? The little farmers fences, you know what I mean. But let's start off with something like this. So if I chuck that one down there, actually I'll get the auto close one because it might work a little bit better for us, just in case NPCs are walking around. And I really do hope that the NPCs work with this fence system. I suspect a lot of them will get stuck, but you know, when you have a very custom settlement like this, it doesn't always play ball, but that is okay. I can work around that. In a lot of those sort of cases, I will just go for something, again, kind of custom. I'll get sort of animation markers and put the NPCs kind of in their place. So it takes away a little bit of the, I guess, randomness of the NPCs walking around and stuff. But it just means that they, for one, they'll have a job, and secondly, they won't just be doing random stuff like getting stuck, which is very good. Oh, and you might have noticed I did get rid of some of the trees on this fence line here because they were casting very strong shadows over the settlement, and it was just hard to sort of see what was going on. Alright, so I've fenced this house in, and let's get some greenery in there. Now I'm going to do a mixture of different mods because Homemaker, for instance, they do a really nice green fern that I really like. Where's our foliage? This one here. So I'm going to run this one down the fence line. Spin it around. And it's helpful if your foundations are off the floor because just to avoid having the leaves come through the walls. Oh, I'm getting stuck. I just want this one. It's not out of the realms of possibility that somebody has some secateurs or some scissors or something and they can prune these trees. I just think the sort of the pre-war hedges are a little bit too fancy for this. So let's just see how far we're going to run this. Okay, I'm going to lean it a little bit more into this other house area, just because I'm getting kind of close to the wall on this house here. Okay, and do we want to do some flowers as well? Maybe we do. I'll use these in a different house, but let's get some kind of nice little flowers going. Mad Kia, because I have some planters. Now I don't want to get one that's too nice looking, so I'll go maybe this kind of oxidized metal look, and I'll bring it a little bit closer to the, let's chuck it in the middle like that, and just make sure it's not clipping through the wall because that would look a little bit funny. Alrighty, and we could even... Do I go hardcore with this? I guess we don't need to. I was going to put maybe a tree in the corner, but obviously that's going to introduce more shadows, so maybe we won't do that. So that's the general idea, is to have these houses all kind of fenced in like this, and the footpath kind of leads you through the settlement. Just going to bring these down a little bit just so it doesn't look too... I don't want to give the impression that it's all like closed off and kind of like a security gate or something. Security fence. I want it to be somewhat inviting. Bring it all down. Okay, so I'm going to basically replicate what I've done here using some different fences and some different plants and things. So I'll do that now and I will show you the results. Well, after some time I have completed the exterior design of this place, and to me it's looking pretty fantastic. It is very dense though, but I'll show you what I've got very briefly. We've got this main entranceway here, and as I said, it's very dense. There's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff going on. But let's just briefly walk through here. We'll do a final tour at the end when I've done the interiors, but I just thought I would just show you kind of where we ended up with our walkway. You can see I've utilized lots of different plants and kind of, I don't know what you call those, retaining walls or fences. But yes, a lot going on. Let me just jump up into the sky. But look at this. If that does not look cozy, I don't know what does. To me, this is like super idyllic. I mean, there's got to be at least one kind of idyllic place in the Commonwealth, right? Sorry, I'm very excited. My camera is going all over the place. I'll do some kind of smooth shots at the end. But before we do the final tour, obviously we need to fill in our buildings because they virtually have nothing inside of them. So what I'll do is, let's go over to this building over here. Fairly standard, fairly typical. And what I'm going to do is just go through my process of doing the interior, and then I'm going to kind of replicate that same workflow, the same style throughout the rest of the settlement, and then we can do our final tour and look through. Alrighty, so now we are kind of we don't have a lot of space up in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of combine the sleeping area with the living room area. So at the end here I'm going to do kind of a loft. Let's do this one. It's a little bit skinnier, so we can get it lower without sort of blocking the window too much. Let's just do a few here. I'll extend it out a little bit because that's a little bit... I mean, we could get a mattress up there, but let's just give it a bit more space. So if we do something like this, okay, I'll put it up so it clips through, and then if we go underneath and just do a few more, I'll probably go outside and just make sure they're not poking through the wall because we don't want that. Let me just have a look. No, I think we're good. Okay, and we just need to do some vertical ones. It's probably a little bit too thick. Let's just do these ones. Let me see here, because we need space for our seating arrangement. So let's do one here and then just do one over here. And we're going to say that that is secure. Can I select that? I can't. Okay, no worries. Alrighty, so let's go to... we'll go to CVC because they have some beds here. We have different types. Now we can go ground and do something like this. Let's go something that looks kind of friendly. And what I like to do is I'll put that up there, and then later on we'll put some clothing shelves and things there. And if we go to the sofa, we can choose between these different types. And the good thing about this is that it actually serves as another bed. So because we don't have a ton of actual dwellings here, because we do have shops and a church and stuff like that, so we need to sort of cram as many in there as possible. So that's the way I'm going to go about it. And if we stay in CVC, we'll go decorations. Where are we? Space deco. Go to the end. Clothes. And I'll just get something like this. And let's just put a couple of them. Let's put some boots near the door. Anything else? I guess we could... Oh no, I might do a side table there. Okay, let's go to living room. Furniture. Let's do a coffee table. Let's just put it off to the side a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be kind of difficult to navigate. And then if we go bedroom, we've got a side table here. Some smokes and a beer. Perfect. And actually, to be honest, I'm going to get a smaller one. I think there is a smaller one, because I do want room to sort of get around there. Is that the smaller one? I think it is. Yes. Like that. Alright, and I have to find the ladder. I think I do have... Is it homemaker? Decorations. Miscellaneous exterior. Okay, so I just scrolled over. We have this ladder or this ladder. I might go for this one because we can just make it intersect with the ground. Now, this is not climbable, so the NPCs aren't going to be climbing up there. But if you skip time and somebody's assigned to that bed, they should be able to find a way. Obviously, they're not going to be climbing down the ladder to get up off the bed. They'll just sort of pop into a different space. But that's just how we have to do it, unfortunately. And if I jump back into CVC, I'm going to grab... Where are we? This is going to be our kitchen area. But actually, what if I put something on the floor? Oh, gotta lift it up until we see the frills. And we don't have to worry about a bathroom because we've got a bathroom for everyone to use. So that's all good. We want crafting. Where's our crafting? Resources. Crafting, and there is a kitchen-y thing here. Let's put that in the middle like that. And I've got in the deco, space deco, we've got some kitchen related stuff. Let's go furniture sets and get one that looks decent. We might even be able to squeeze in a fridge. It's not a working fridge, of course, but it'll fill that space in nicely. Okay, and if I go to living room again, there is a kind of a single table kind of deal that I like. This one here. And I'm going to put that one around about here. And I've got room to squeeze a bookshelf in there as well, I think. clipping through the wall there. Okay, and then if we just jump back into the normal vanilla seating, grab a chair, something that looks like it suits, like that. Alrighty, I think that is pretty much it. Now in terms of lighting, I'm not going to go too hardcore with power and everything. I might just stick with the lanterns. So if we go to G2M mod, it's got the Far Harbor items. And if we go get this hook, where should we put it? Should we put it right in the middle of the room? Like this. And then just go to power, and it should snap. Is that snapping on? Yes, okay. Here we go. It does have a little bit of a breeze kind of animation going on, but that's okay. Now, it doesn't provide a massive amount of lighting here, but we can go to CVC and go to buildings and fire. And let's get some candles in here. Just some tabletop ones, I think. Oh, don't do that. One there, and let's just do one on top of here. Okay, perfect. Now obviously the final thing for our little house here is we need a door. So we don't have to think too much about this one. Just grab any old kind of door. Preferably one that suits. Make sure our snapping is on. Okay, let's do it. The hinges are out towards us, so the door is gonna turn towards us. So let's just spin it around. Now it's gonna go inside, open inside. That just helps, especially the NPCs walk in and out. I noticed when they're around the other way, it's a little bit more difficult. But I think that house is done. So I'm going to sort of replicate what I've done inside with the rest of the places in here. And I think the final part of the video is going to be a tour. So let me tackle the rest of the buildings and I'll see you in a moment for the tour. Well, it is time for the tour because the interiors are now complete. And we start at the main entrance here. And I have put in a guard tower with a guard, and there is like a machine gun turret up there as well, just for that added protection. Okay, first off we have a community notice board and a little mailbox, and this guy's digging up a storm. I did end up basically assigning all the settlers to certain jobs, so you can see this guy's painting a sign. Because as I suspected, they have trouble kind of navigating the pathway with a lot of fences and curves and things. So that's what I've done there just to mitigate that. But we've got a cozy little house here with upstairs bedroom, and come through the door here just to sort of look down into the valley and the community happenings. You can see there's another guard tower up there. We've got another one kind of behind those buildings there as well. And a few more dotted around the place. Let's just move to the next one. Okay, we got our CVC farmer's fence with automatic closing. Very handy. This person's just sweeping the front porch. And another dwelling here. Now this time I've gone for the hanging bed with the chains. Just because I didn't want to have a post kind of sticking right in the middle of the living room, and then we just have a Woody's Wasteland kitchen in the rear. Okay, on to the next one. Again, automatic closing, and this one's a little bit more conventional. We do have a sort of walled in bedroom with a couple of beds inside. All very good. Okay. Let's check out this one. This is probably one of my favorite homes. This person's a bit of a reader, so lots of books around the place. This one opens out into the porch. This person's just hanging out, and we got some chairs out there as well. And if we go to the top, you can see we got this awesome skylight, reading in bed, and a little loft up here. Very nice. Okay, we'll visit that house in a sec. Let's just go to the shared bathroom situation over here. Now, I didn't put a door kind of here because it is kind of all closed off anyway, so didn't really need to. So we have a toilet cubicle here and here, a couple of sinks over on this side, and this bit here is a shower section, so you can just pull that closed. And then we have sort of two individual showers here as well with their own curtains and lockers just with towels and stuff. And I did finish it off with a nice kind of overgrown vine thing. So there are actually a couple of these settlers that aren't actually assigned. I think we've got about 17 at the moment. Okay, another dwelling here. Fairly standard, I would assume. Not much happening.
You know what I call a good day?
And this one, we can go through there just by going around the fence here, or we can just come through the door. Again, fairly typical layout. And this one's got the door out to the outside as well. That way. Perfect. This person's doing some gardening. This one has a kind of a more interesting bed situation. We got kind of like a spiral stair going up to like a second level type thing. Well, a lifted area. So that's kind of a novel way to organize the bedroom. Okay, come around here. Now, I did manage to squeeze in some fish. They do have a interesting animation kind of, I don't know, line, and they do sort of go through the rocks, unfortunately. So I've just tried to hide it with the leaves and even having kind of like the rocks sort of not floating, but you can see there it's kind of leaning up against the other one just to try and hide the clipping of the fish. And I'm pretty sure they do go through the rock, but I'm pretty sure they don't go into the garden. And because we have fish, I just decided to get this guy up here and have him feeding them. So he's got his own little kind of jetty for that. Okay, we did that house. Let's do this house. Again, the CVC beds and couches, both of them can be used for towards your bed count, which is really good. And this guy's just at the back doing some weeding. Now this one I decided to turn into the church. So I put a little cross at the top there, and inside got some pews, and this person, I don't know, that's some pretty hardcore praying. Leave it to it. And this is our bar slash restaurant. Very nice open feel and great views out. Okay, moving on. This guy's doing some more weeding up through in here. Just again, kind of a simple layout, but all good. And around our cul-de-sac type thing, this guy's fixing his house. And again, we got another guard post. You just sort of hop the fence, I guess, and go out that way. There is another one behind the church as well. And then another one behind those buildings over there. Let's check out this last. Oh, this is where we started. There we go. Not much has changed there, but it's good to see how it turned out. So let's get up into the sky and sort of see what it looks like up there. And I want to change the time to nighttime scene just to see how it all looks. Let's just take a quick look around. Just plugged in my controller, so hopefully we can get kind of a smoother look. I'll compile a list of mod names for those that are interested in replicating anything you've seen here. You can just sort of pause the video for the screenshot and search the name, or alternatively you can just check the description for the links. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here. If you enjoyed this one, please drop us a like and a subscription if you're feeling extra generous. And jump over to our Discord. You can find a link on the main channel page. Get over there, you can post your own Fallout 4 builds and just get involved. And with all that said, I hope to see you on the next video and have an awesome day.